Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. This is combat testing snapshot number 4, where Jeb, the lead designer of the Minecraft game, is testing out different PvE and PvP features. In this latest installment, the snapshot has been updated to 1.15, and it has all of the 1.15 features for testing alongside the combat changes. So you can see here that the rendering of all the blocks is changed as it is in 1.15, but this doesn't mean that it's going to be a part of that update. When the testing is done and ready, then it will be incorporated into the game, and considering that 1.15 is coming out on the 10th of December, it's probably unlikely that these changes will make it into the game by then. I'm also very aware that I'm going to get some comments saying that pre-release free is out. I've covered 1 and 2 on this channel, and 1.15 pre-release free, I didn't have time to cover it. It was also kind of small, so when number 4 comes out, we'll cover both of those changes together. So we're going to go through all the changes in this combat testing snapshot. Just quickly wanted to mention that Jeb is taking on board a lot of feedback as always. It's clear from reading his comments here that he's quite invested in hearing what the community has to say. So if you have something you want to pass on to them that you want them to take into consideration, you want to just go to the link in the description box, visit the thread, and you'll be able to give your feedback to Jeb directly. The very first change is related to the cooldown after you perform an attack. You can see the little indicator there to the right of the hotbar. Notice how I don't have to recharge the weapon when I swap between them. They will be ready for attack immediately after swapping. And here's something I've noticed. If I do an attack and then quickly swap, you can see that the cooldown still appears. So you can't use this as like a trick to get around the cooldown swapping. And even if you spam swapping your weapons, you can see the cooldown stays on the screen. So that's really well implemented. There are 2 types of attack that have been changed. First of all, the critical attack. The cooldown is now 100%, meaning that you can execute these critical attacks quicker than you could before. The other change is to the knockback enchantment, which you can activate by sprint attacking. So if I hit the one on the right, you can see it goes back to that glowstone there. If I sprint attack the one on the left, it goes to the glowstone that's further back. Now, the change is that the cooldown is simply 100%, so you can execute these quicker, whereas in the last snapshot, it was 200%. These next 2 changes kind of feel like they cancel each other out. The default attack reach has been decreased by 0.5. It used to be 3 blocks, and now it's just 2.5. And the other change is to the full-time 200% charge attack. It now has a reach of 1.0, so that's an increase of 0.5. So this basically means if I just stand here and attack, I'm always going to be able to hit this one over here, no matter what I really do or what rate I attack at, because eventually you'll get that 200% charge. So even if I spam attack like this, I'm eventually going to get all of the reach and always hit that one that is it 3.5 blocks away? Yeah, it's 3.5 blocks away. So I don't feel like the charge thing really works with attack reach. I think it's a good idea, but it just doesn't seem to make any difference when executed. The accuracy of shooting arrows has been increased. There is a value called uncertainty, which was 1.0. and is now 0.25. So I'm guessing this value kind of added some randomness to your shots to make them a little inaccurate, and so now your shooting should be more accurate. I don't do a lot of shooting with the bow and arrow, so I couldn't really give you too much feedback on this one, but it should in theory be more accurate. In the last combat test, there was a feature when you shifted with a shield or you held down right click from the first person perspective, it would disappear on your screen. This was called shield animation, and you're looking at a clip from the last video that I did here. This feature's been removed entirely, so you won't be able to have your shield disappear when you're in first person perspective. You will now be able to disable the shield on crouch feature though, so if we go into options and accessibility settings, you can see there is a new button here. So if we turn that off and go back here and hold down shift, you can see that we are not automatically blocking. So with that option, you can change how you want that feature to work. There is a minor change to axes, and also it's related to enchantments, and in the post Jeb mentions that last time we had the chopping enchantment added, and that nothing here has been changed, although he's aware there's loads of feedback. So I'm guessing we might see a change in the future, or maybe he just decided to keep it as is. But the change here is that you can now get other types of enchantment on axe in a enchanting table. So you can see here, you can now get sharpness on an axe through an enchanting table, which you couldn't do before. We also have changes to snowballs. First of all, you can see that they stack to 64, which is obviously going to be convenient. And they won't be rendered for the first 2 ticks of their existence. So when I throw this, it doesn't cover the entire screen, which is actually a really clever change. So now the snowball is visible when it's a little further away from you. And there's also a 4-tick cooldown for when you throw the snowball as well. So if you look at the bottom of the screen where the snowballs are, you can see there's a cooldown meter there. Now I wanted to go back to the previous version and do a little test. So if we hold down right click, you can see the snowball flickering on the screen, but also there isn't a cooldown, but it feels like the attack speed is maybe just ever so slightly faster. So the cooldown probably just slows down the attack rate a tiny bit. Last of all in this snapshot, changes to the Trident, which I think are fantastic. And as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of them in my inventory. They've all got loyalty free, and we're going to throw these into the void. Now what happens is the entity itself, the Trident, takes damage from the void, and it means that these get destroyed. The thing is now, when they do get destroyed, they just get returned straight to the player's inventory. So it's not like normal loyalty, where you see the Trident make its way back to you. I think the moment it takes damage, it then just gets, magically put back into your inventory, which I think is a cool change. It means you're not going to lose this Trident into the void. The other really cool thing here is that they can now be shot out of dispensers, which puts them on parity with Bedrock Edition. So I imagine this is a change that may just come to 1.15 anyway, or it may just be reserved for part of the updates for the combat. But here's the thing. With loyalty, it doesn't know that the dispenser is its owner, and it doesn't magically make its way back, which kind of makes sense, but it could be a really cool feature if it did actually make its way back. There is also a change to the Impaling Enchantment. This one deals additional damage to aquatic mobs. For example, a turtle is an aquatic mob. However, now if it's raining, this additional damage can be applied to any type of mob. So the Impaling then becomes useful when it is raining. These changes have had me wondering if there's anything useful we could do with this ability to shoot them out of a dispenser. Obviously, you could use it for automatically attacking creatures and whatnot, but here's the thing. I don't know of a way to turn that Trident into an item so it could be picked up by a hopper and put back into the dispenser. Then it might actually have a use, because it can do damage to an entity, and also, if you look here, it survives TNT explosions, which I find interesting, but that was just me attempting to turn it back into item form, and I don't know if that can be done. Now, because it doesn't turn into an item, it had me conducting an experiment. If we shoot a zombie like this, you can see that it stays as a Trident in the world. If I then go and put a zombie directly underneath it, well, we missed that time, but it's not able to do damage a second time, which was an observation I made. Anyway, that was just me goofing around with the dispenser and the Trident a little bit. If you've got a cool idea for how these could be used for something new and interesting, be sure to let me know. I can't help but feel there's an idea there to be unearthed. But anyway, that's all the changes. So if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. It supports the channel. And earlier in the week, I posted pre-release 2 and an episode of Hermitcraft. So both those things are going to be linked on your screen if you want to check them out. Of course, make sure you're subscribed if you want to catch more of these update videos. But that's it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.